If you ever find yourself disheartened when you see that you have a StarCraft and Warrior daily, fear no more. The StarCraft Warrior this game needs, and maybe even deserves, has arrived. Hello there! This is Hunter from Sightline Studios, bringing you an in-depth look and talent guide to the first ever StarCraft Warrior to enter Heroes of the Storm, Artanis. Artanis just released in Heroes of the Storm for those of us who have pre-purchased the Legacy of the Void StarCraft expansion. But, pre-purchasing the expansion or not, you should find this guide helpful regardless. Artanis is a hero who must be played very strategically since his survivability is based on how well you can manage a few of his abilities. And now on to my build. For your level 1 talent, you're going to want to take Seasoned Marksman. That makes it so that for every 6 enemy minion kills you get, or captured mercenaries, you gain 1 basic attack damage. This talent is brilliant because of how much damage Artanis does with his basic attacks. They actually end up being his hardest hitting ability, even over Blade Dash and Phase Prism. For your level 4 talent, you're going to want to take Lethal Alacrity, which makes it so that your Blade Dash's range and speed are both increased by 30%. This is fantastic because it allows you to get some of those extra long range snipes on heroes who may be fleeing the battle, and also allows you to hit more and get to your destination and return faster. It's also good defensively in that the way if a Flame Strike is cast on you, you can use your Blade Dash to escape, and now that it's faster and goes farther, there's a greater chance you can avoid blizzards, flame strikes, and other area of effects that you might have gotten hit with before. Your level 7 talent is going to want to be Psionic Synergy. That makes it that every time Blade Dash hits an enemy hero, it reduces Shield Overload's cooldown by 4 seconds. This talent flows very well with the rest of the build on a few levels. The first being that I already mentioned, you can use Blade Dash as an escape to begin with to dodge area of effects such as blizzards and flame strikes and other targeted things. Even Nova's Precision Strike can be avoided with a well-timed Blade Dash. Not only now are you using Blade Dash to escape, but if you can line it up so that as you escape you hit multiple heroes, you could also trigger a shield, which you might have been hard pressed to do with just Twin Blades and basic attacks before. Now as far as which ult to take, they're both very solid picks, but I find that my favorite is Purifier Beam. Although, Suppression Pulse is very good against heavy auto attack compositions such as Illidan, Butcher, Raynor, or even Vala. Purifier Beam has unlimited range, and when targeted on a hero, deals damage to them every second for 8 seconds. Now, the beam also chases heroes at a speed that is slightly lower than your run speed, but it's very good for disrupting teamfights, seeing as if you were to throw it on, say, a low mobility hero, they'd have no choice but to drop what they're doing and run. And now that they're running, they'll have a much harder time dealing damage to your team or healing their allies, whichever it may be. So it's important you pick your targets very carefully and don't just shoot at the first thing that moves. For Artanis' level 13 talent, I always choose Triple Strike, because although it looks at first glance like just an offensive attack, it also doubles for a very defensive ability as well. Triple Strike increases Twin Blade's number of basic attacks from 2 to 3, making it so that you'll strike a third time to deal extra damage with basic attacks, which will be your highest hitting attacks, but also that extra strike does take off an additional 4 seconds from Shield Overload, making it a very powerful defensive ability as well. The next talent you'll take is Titan Killer, which will make it so that your Twin Blade attacks against heroes deal an additional 2.5% of the target's max health in damage, and that's per strike. So with Triple Strike, you're making it so that you deal with 1 Twin Blades 7.5% of the target's max health, as well as the damage you are already dealing from the 3 basic attacks, giving you a killer opener into any engage, and will allow you to also chew through enemy warrior heroes very quickly, making you dominate the battlefield. Target Purified makes it so that if the target of Purifier Beam dies, it will automatically recast with full duration to the nearest enemy hero. This is fantastic for a team that has a hard time dodging Purifier Beam, since ultimately you can get an almost unlimited Purifier Beam as your team jumps from hero to hero with the beam taking them out. If, however, the enemy team is dealing with Purifier Beam very well, and you find yourself using it for more of a disruption as opposed to damage, then it is important to take Nexus Blades. The flat 20% damage buff it gives to your basic attacks is undisputably ridiculously powerful, seeing as your basic attacks are already your strongest abilities, and now they're 20% more powerful. And since this build doesn't take Zealot Charge, the slow that Nexus Blades gives also allows you to keep that gap closed on heroes who have higher movement speed or are just naturally faster than you. It allows you to keep up with them and continue the sustained pressure of your basic attacks, which will undoubtedly kill heroes in a very short period of time. This build is very strong because it gives you a very solid offense, but also a very shield-oriented defense that will make you survive through a lot of heavy hits. But it is by no means the best build or the only build for Artanis. It is simply my favorite. I'm sure there are plenty of other builds out there just waiting to be discovered because this character has some fantastic talents. So go to the comments section once you give Artanis a try and tell me exactly what your builds are and what you found to be most effective. Agree? Disagree? Can't wait to hear either way. I hope you're finding this hero enjoyable, and I hope my build helped. So until next time, my life will still be for ire. Thanks for watching.